Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing great today, and this is going to be a part 2 of the historical facts book reading. That's what the book looks like from the outside. 100 facts of the world wonders. I've done the first part a few months ago, and after getting so many requests, I decided to do a second part. So that's where we left off last time, in the Temple Islands, and now we're moving on to the splendors of the East. Fact number 26. One wall is 6,400 kilometers long. Chinese civilization was based on farming, and the young Chinese nation was often raided by nomads from the north. From 214 BC onwards, China built a stone wall along the border to keep its nuisance neighbors out. The wall was 9 meters high, with watchtowers and a walkway along the top for the guards. That's the Great Wall of China that keeps on going. It climbs all the way up, comes through here, and we have a beautiful little illustration here. The Great Wall of China includes many walls built by different emperors over several centuries. The wall was originally dotted with watchtowers, which we can see here, everywhere. 27. There is a city inside the city of Beijing. The Emperor of China once lived inside his own city with hundreds of buildings and 9,000 rooms, all contained within 16 kilometers of high walls. It was known as the Forbidden City because no one was allowed to enter without a special invitation from the Emperor's court. It is now a museum. 28. An emperor was buried with clay soldiers. According to Chinese tradition, the dead should be buried or cremated with items that would be useful to them in heaven. Normally, this means a few handfuls of money, but the first emperor of China, Queen Shi Huangdi, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, was buried with 7,000 life-size clay soldiers, which we can see here. Oh. Okay. 29. Japanese tombs were shaped like keyholes. Japan became a powerful country in the Yamato era. Between 250 and 500 AD, the Yamato nobles were buried in huge tombs, which are keyhole-shaped when seen from above. It took 800,000 people to build Emperor Nintoku's tomb. Number 30. A giant Buddha sits in the world's biggest wooden building. The wooden Todaiji temple in Japan is 57 meters long, 50 meters wide, and 47 meters high, but used to be even bigger. For almost 1,500 years, it has been the home of a giant bronze Buddha statue made from 130 tons of bronze and lived in 130 kilograms of gold. The Dodaiji Buddha promises peace after conflict. Each finger is over 1 meter long. Koreans were early astronomers. The ancient Silla kingdom of Korea was ruled by Queen Sondok in the 7th century. She had an observatory built for studying the stars. The observatory still stands today, although it is not used. Then we're moving on to mighty monuments. Number 32. Stone giants on Easter Island weigh as much as 1,000 men. Giant stone statues called moai frightened the first European visitors to Easter Island in the Pacific Ocean. The biggest of the 600 figures weighs at least 75 tons, not including its 11-ton hat called bukao. Carved from single blocks of stone, the statues were moved great distances before being placed to mark tombs. And here they are. I'm sure we've all seen this in the past. And we have a little one, not a little one, same size, but looks little in the picture in the background. And this one. The mysterious giant heads on Easter Island have frightened sailors for hundreds of years. Maybe that was their purpose, who knows? 33. Ancient Britons built a huge stone circle. Stonehenge in England was made from giant stones, some of which were brought 385 kilometers from a quarry in Wales. They were arranged so that the sun shone into the entranceway on the morning of the longest day of the summer solstice. The solstice was the most important festival day for farmers. People prayed that crops would grow well before harvesting. And that's what it used to look like. With smaller stones all around it on the inside. And then the big ones here. Stonehenge was built about 4,000 years ago. 34. One giant mound in Britain is a total mystery. The same ancient Britons who built Stonehenge also built a mysterious hill. Silbury Hill is near Avebury, another stone circle, but its purpose is unknown. It is 40 meters tall and 30 meters across. At the top, there is no sign of a tube inside. 35. Some religious parades may have lasted 1 kilometer or more. Holy men of northern France may have walked to the long stone avenue at Carnac, Brittany, every sunrise and sunset. Prehistoric religious carvings on some of the stones there were later added to the Roman graffiti and Christian symbols. Let's read this. Stone crazy. Large stone structures built by prehistoric people are called megaliths. The people who made them had no metal tools. Some megaliths were carved from blocks of stone using handheld stone chisels. But to carve stone with a stone, you have to know which stone is toughest. Try placing these stones in order of hardness. We have marble, granite, diamond, limestone, and quartz. So, here it gives us the answer. The hardest one is C, which is diamond. Then it's E, quartz. Then it's B, granite. Then it's A, marble. And then it's D, limestone. Number 36. Temples on the island of Malta have stood for 5,000 years. The oldest buildings in the world are in Malta. Ancient farmers worshipped goddesses of fertility and built temples out of limestone for religious rituals. The temples housed small statues of an earth mother goddess. And then we have lost cities. Number 37. Ancient cities have been swallowed by the sea. The sea level in the Mediterranean has changed since cities began to be built around it. The coastline of Lebanon is dotted with underwater cities such as Yermuda, which were abandoned as the sea rose. The Black Sea coastline was pushed back at a speed of over 1 kilometer a day when the Mediterranean began to pour in 7,500 years ago. Number 38. The island of Atlantis was lost in legend. The ancient Greeks told stories of an island in the Atlantic Ocean that once sent armies to rule the Mediterranean, but legend has it that island sank below the waves after earthquake damage. According to legend, the island of Atlantis sank beneath the sea. Scientists now think that stories about Atlantis could relate to the Greek island of Thera, which was destroyed by volcanic eruptions in 1470 BC. Number 39. Cleopatra's palace lies below fishing boats. After the Romans took over Alexandria in Egypt around 100 BC, the city became less important. Alexandrians moved their city inland away from the rising sea. The old city is now being found under the waters of the harbor. I don't believe it. There are 3 Roman columns near Naples in Italy that have been nibbled by shellfish. This proves they were underwater at some point. Volcanic activity can push or drop the coastline by several meters. Number 40. An ancient Egyptian city appeared in America. A huge Egyptian sphinx was uncovered not far from El Paso, Texas in 1999, but it turned out not to be real. It was set for a film, The 10 Commandments. It had been hidden by Cecil B. DeMille in 1923 to keep details of the film secret before it was released. That's pretty interesting. 41. There may be a city half a kilometer under the sea near Cuba. Scientists have scanned the seabed of an area Cabo de San Antonio off the coast of Cuba. They have seen regular shaped structures 600 meters down, but cannot tell if the street and house shapes are man-made or something natural, such as coral. Number 42. Japan's undersea pyramid may be a freak of nature. Off the southernmost island of Japan, close to Taiwan, a stone mound has been discovered by divers with what could be steps, carvings, and a roadway. It looks like an Inca temple, but geologists say that all the odd features could be explained by the effect of waves smashing into a rock. That's so beautiful. That is so incredibly beautiful. I love it. And now we are at watery wonders. Number 43. Undersea vents feed spooky creatures. Almost all life on Earth depends on the sun to provide energy, but undersea vents feed some very strange looking life forms. They give off clouds of hot water that contain minerals. These feed tiny plants and animals which are eaten by tube worms and giant clams, a kind of shellfish. Number 44. I can keep it here, it's fine. The deepest place in the sea is the Mariana Trench. It marks the spot where the huge Pacific plate plunges beneath the continental plate of East Asia. It is 2,500 kilometers long, and some parts are over 11 kilometers below sea level. So that is a rat-tail fish, and these are giant clams, which I presume these are too. This is a cloud of hot water rich in minerals. Rocky chimney made from a build-up of minerals. I don't believe it. Before ships had engines, the oceans were a quieter place for animals to live. Whales could hear their mates calling from the other side of the world. Fact number 45. There is a mountain range under the Atlantic Ocean. The mountain chain is 16,000 kilometers long and lies halfway between the Americas on one side and Europe and Africa on the other. The seabed is growing from volcanic rock, forcing the two sides of the Atlantic further apart at a rate of 10 centimeters a year. As the seabed is pressed, it crumbles up into mountains. I was reading somewhere and I did not fact check this, so if you know, please let me know. Mount Everest keeps growing, and each time someone climbs it, they're essentially setting a new world record. I don't know if this is true, but I would like to know if it is. So, if you know, please let me know. Number 46. North America was hit by a wave half a kilometer tall. In Lituya Bay, Alaska, trees were smashed from the edges of the bay by a record-breaking wave in 1958. Scientists think it was caused by a piece of a mountain crashing into the head of the bay. The wave reached 520 meters above sea level. An amazing variety of life thrives in the deep sea near hot underwater vents. When these here are tube worms. Then we have amazing animals. Fact number 47. A monarch butterfly flies 3,000 kilometers. Monarch butterflies in North America swarm together for a winter holiday. They fly from colder northern areas down to the forest of southern California and Mexico. In spring, they return some of the way, lay eggs, and die. Their young continue the trip north for summer. And that's what they look like. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Monarch butterflies live in several parts of the world, but the American species travels further. Fact number 48. On Christmas Island in the Indian Ocean, the ground turns red twice a year. Red forest-living crabs migrate in huge swarms to the seashore where their eggs are laid all at once. Then their tiny young return after a few months as larvae. Red crabs have to dip in the sea after their long walk to save themselves from drying out, and that's what they look like. Teeny tiny ones. Fact number 49. Tiny corals build a home you can see from space. The Great Barrier Reef runs up the northeast coast of Australia for 2,000 kilometers. It is built and renewed by billions of tiny coral polyps, less than 1 centimeter across. Over a period of 2 million years, these tiny animals have created a world wonder that can be seen from space. And that's what the tiny coral polyp looks like. Kind of like a flower flourishing. This coral polyp has built itself a cup of limestone, making a shelter like a snail's shell. And number 50. Termite cities have air conditioning. Termite nests are often out of sight, but some poke up through the soil to form strange mounds. In northern Australia, these nests line up north to south. Scientists think the termites use the sun's energy to circulate cool air within the nest. And that's what they look like. Termite mounds are built to keep the right mix of air and moisture in the nest below. Another, I don't believe it, fact. Sea creatures often produce millions of eggs because so many will be eaten by hungry predators. I did not know that. That's pretty interesting. So, I think we've read enough for today. Last time we read 25 facts, and today we've read another 25, which brought us up to 50. Please let me know if you would like me to finish the book. I think I would like that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Sweet dreams.